Hello, Assalamualaikum guys, and welcome back to another video. It's Ibrahim Muslim, and today I'm back with another video on Hackintosh. So in this video, I will be making an AMD Ryzen Hackintosh with an AMD processor. So I started with a very basic build, which is an AMD Ryzen 3200G and AMD RX 570 graphics card, and a 16 GB of total memory. So I created a whole Hackintosh and it went really good and it was really stable. I already have the build running. I'm running a MacOs Big Sur on this 11.0.1 and everything is working. So I added a Wi-Fi Bluetooth card as well. So Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, a sound and all the other stuff is working perfectly, iMessages and stuff. So let's go to the build and see what we have in our build. So here is the build running and this is the monitor which is connected to the build. So I also ran the Cinebench R23 Benchmark to see the performance, and I will show you it got a 3692 score. With a 4-core processor, it is a very excellent performance score. And on my right, I have Intel Hackintosh. So it contains an Intel Core i7-8700 GB gaming SLI motherboard. So this processor contains 12 threads and 6 cores. And still, this processor scored about 8192. Which is almost double, but it have more cores and more threads, and I expected it to perform really good. So before we start making this Hackintosh and how I created it and how I set up everything, I will show you one great thing, which is we are going to upgrade this Hackintosh B550 motherboard with our latest AMD 3900 XT processor. So it's a 3900 XT processor which contains 12 cores and 24 threads, and which is almost double than what we have on our Intel counterpart. And we will see the performance we can get on our Hackintosh with Big Sur. And I will also be checking the processor on different softwares, including Final Cut, Apple Motion, Adobe Premiere, Adobe After Effects. And we will see if we face any issue in all this software testing and what performance gain do we get. And if we get a very stable 3900 XT Hackintosh, then I will probably move to 3950 XT, or we will move to 5950 XT processor which came out early this year. So let's go with the build and let's build the 3900 XT Hackintosh, and after that I will tell you how to basically configure it to run a Mac OS Big Sur on your machine. So guys, we are on our Hackintosh screen now. So this is Ryzen 3200G with AMD RX 480. And as you can see, the build is running quite stable. So I'm doing a screen recording just to show you everything is working. So before we proceed to 3900 XT upgradation, I want to just check out everything. I'm also thinking that if we will be able to directly upgrade the Hackintosh without doing any patches. So I will just making sure that before upgrade everything works. So when we move to the 3900 XT, we can check that everything works as well. So as far as now, I have almost checked most of the stuff and I have tested all the performance benchmarks and stuff. So just before we see the benchmarks, let's see overall smoothness of the system, because sometimes benchmarks are different, tells different story, but the smoothness is pretty cracked. So this is the Safari and these are the basic default applications. So I was just trying to show you the overall stability and smoothness of the system. So let's do this. This is kind of a thing that shows smoothness of the system, and I have tested this on a lot of different devices, also on iPads as well. So it's going pretty cool, and we can open multiple systems here, multiple pages, just to see the smoothness and what you can say performance of this Hackintosh. Okay, so loading these pages. My internet is kind of slow as well, so it's not because of the Hackintosh speed, it's basically I'm using a 25 MB internet right now, so it's basically due to that. Okay, cancel this. Okay, almost all pages are loaded. So let's go back and let's go one more time and then go to this, go to this, go to this. So it is kind of a smooth and I feel no issues. The processor itself is very basic processor, and the integrated graphic inside it is kind of not useful. So my CPU pick was not a best pick, but still. Okay, so we are done with this. Okay, then one more important thing is we check the okay, we make more spaces and see the smoothness what we get through this system. Okay, the system is pretty smooth, no issue here. Okay, so let's minimize this, go about this Mac, and very important thing, let's open the activity monitor. So we are able to see the activity of our AMD Ryzen 3200G, which is pretty sweet. It's using a quite normal use. Most of the use is because of this crazy activity monitor. Okay, system report. So this is the hardware you're using. Our audio, our Bluetooth is working. I have inserted original Apple Broadcom Bluetooth card. So we got a win-win here. Bluetooth is working, and also the Wi-Fi is working. Our Ethernet is working. I have unplugged it, but it is working. And then we go to storage. We have a 250 GB NVMe SSD from HP on this build right now. Our PCI and graphics card, Ethernet, Bluetooth, audio, USB. All the USB 3s are working. You can see 5 gigabit speed, Bluetooth working. We go down here. This is our software and Wi-Fi working. Okay, so now is the time for the benchmarks, and because I've already done benchmarks and I was not going to do benchmarks while we record the screen because it heavily affects it. So let's open the few benchmarks I did. So this one is on Geekbench 5, 887 on a single core, 2726 on multi-core. So this is literally 40% slower than a new Apple M1, but it's pretty good for the basic processor we call for like $100. So this processor is pretty cheap and makes our build really cheap as well. So this is the second benchmark, and I don't know why it's not opening. So go to the third one. So this is our 12,000 score on multi-core on Geekbench 4 and 4,221 on single bench. This is GPU. Oh, why is it not opening? Oh, okay, this one opened. So this is 88,179 on multi-core on Geekbench 4 for the graphics performance. Okay, and it's pretty sweet. So let's do the speed test of our hard drive, and we also got 7,793 on GPUs on OpenCL. Also, this is our hard drive, 1,000 MBs per second, right? And I don't know why it's going down, but it do keep up. This was strange, 1,600 MB on this. Oh, this is strange. Maybe I don't have enough space right now, or the trim is not enabled. Okay, we have enough storage space. Let me see, I think the trim is not enabled. Oh, trim is supported. Okay, let's do the test one more time. I used to give a very good score, but let me see what's wrong here. So it might be due to the screen recording, but I will do a test after the screen recording because it is very normal to have such scores while doing the screen recording. So we did a Cinebench R23 benchmark of this processor, and it gave a very decent score. Look at this, it's on the bottom because it's a 4-core simple processor, and it gave almost similar performance to a 4-core 8-thread processor from Intel Core i7 series. I think it's a laptop graphic card and it's limited, but the performance is almost equivalent. So there's like 1%, 2% difference. And it's equal to high performance i7 4th generation. So it's kind of a similar score. Okay, and we also did the R25. And let me open this. So here we got a very decent score on CPU, which is 4 core, 4 threads, and it performed well than Intel Core i7 3rd gen because of the time, and it is very good in overall performance here. If we go to OpenGL, the performance was good, 63 FPS, but if we put a faster processor here, the performance will be far more great. Our AMD RX 480 is right now bottlenecked due to the 3200G. Okay, so now it's time to test our Apple native application. These applications are highly optimized for Apple hardware. So let's see how these perform on our Hackintosh. So let's start with Final Cut Pro. And this is the timeline. It's a 4K video recorded from an iPhone 12. And it is HD and it's raw. So it's Adobe One. So it's running kind of a smooth. We are facing frame drops right here because of the screen recording, to be honest. I was experiencing no frame drops when I did tested this without the screen recording. And I also did an export, a successful export. Let me see in the notification if I find that. I will also do an export with recording through my camera, not here, but the software itself is working. Let's move to other softwares like Apple Motion, Adobe After Effects, and Adobe Premiere Pro. So now just clean everything from desktop and close everything to make sure that system works on its best. And let's try the Apple Motion application, and then we will try basic Apple applications like Apple TV and Apple Music and other stuff that requires some of the internal hardware acceleration. So let's open this, Apple Motion. So the Apple Motion turns on and it's working. So let's try something to check if it's working for real or not. Okay, for as far as I know, it's working right now. I'm not a good user in Apple Motion, but okay, that's for the testing. And I think we can save the project. If we can save, then we can export later on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now I don't know how to export a movie. And okay, the export, okay, it worked. Okay, so Apple Motion is working as well. I don't know if about the basic core features, but as far as I can test it, it's working all right. So Apple Motion is working as well. I don't know about the basic features, but as far as I can test it, it's working really well. So after Apple Motion, let's check Apple TV, but it can be only tested via camera recording. So I will switch to a camera recording, because if we do screen recording, Apple TV does not show the video, it just gives a black screen. So let's test Apple TV. So I'm on my camera, so the video does not go black. Click on the app. Let's click on the Apple TV. Okay, so it's working pretty good because it requires hardware acceleration. So it's important that it works. So that's it. So let's test the next software.
And finally, it works on all your devices.
So let's close this first. And iMessage is working. Mails and stuff is working. I have a message here. So again, I have to add the email ID here. Okay, let's go to VideoProc and see if our internal video encoder and decoder is working. Okay, so hardware, video encoder and decoder are working. Let's give them a try. So this one is working. Let's see the HEVC one is working or not. So HEVC one is working as well. So we are good here. Very good, very happy with this. Okay, then we have basic Apple applications, which include Apple Pages, Numbers, Keynotes, new document. Okay, it's working pretty fine, and I'm happy with that. All three working. And want to skip it. Okay, it's working till here. Okay, leave this. Okay, let's test the Apple Logic, which is very important. Apple Logic is very, very important. So let's close this one, choose, and okay, I don't know, never use it much. Okay, it's working as well. Pretty happy with that. And let's don't save with this one. Go here. Even the compressor is working. It's time to test the Adobe software. So I will just do Adobe Premiere Pro right now because I'm currently facing a bit problem with other Adobe softwares. So there was an online fix. I will try to fix that. And in the next video, I will let you know if I got other Adobe softwares working. So meanwhile, Adobe Photoshop was not working, so I downloaded the Pixelmator Pro. It is also written for Apple specifically. So let's open this. Let's open this. So Pixelmator is working pretty fine. Everything is working cool. Let's apply some effects. And Pixelmator is working pretty cool without any issue. All the features are working perfectly. So that's really nice. We can save the file, do stuff. I've already tried to save the file many times. I can still export this and show you. The exportation rates are crazy fast as well. Just a click away and we got the export file right here. Also the JPEG display with quick display is working as well. If we press this, the quick display is working as well. It used to crash on some of the Intel CPUs. So it's very good that basic functions are working and very least softwares are bugging up in the Ryzentosh. So let's move to the Adobe Premiere Pro now, and I will test the rest of the Adobe softwares and will update you guys in the next video. So right now I recorded 3 videos and each of them is like 4 minutes long, and I pasted them one over another, so 3 of them are displaying at the same time, and I applied different color grading effects on them as well, and I done that all on Adobe Premiere Pro on the Ryzentosh with 3200G. And the 4-minute clip, 4-minute 33-second clip is taking about 6 to 7 minutes to export. So it's exporting quite stably, and we will do the same on Final Cut and we'll see if it works quite good. So this is the export time I wanted to show you, and that it's working pretty well. And this is the machine, both CPU and GPU working good. You can see GPU and you can see the CPU. Where are you, CPU? Okay, this is the CPU. So I just did the export and now we're back on screen recording. So the export took about 7 minutes, and let's see our exported file. So this is our exported file, and let's open this, and here it go. So everything working well, exported correctly, the length is equal, all 3 files have filter added, and that's it. So our Adobe Premiere Pro is working absolutely fine on our Ryzentosh with 3200G and gives a quite good performance value as well. So let's close this and let's go to our Final Cut test, which is our second test, and let's do the export on Final Cut. Okay, so if I go here and let me just start the export first, and then I will stop the screen recording. Okay, we go here. So we go here, we select better quality. It's a H.264 codec we are going to export on. Okay. This is also the H.264 codec, but it's far more compressed and takes way too less space as well, and there is more compression here. Okay, so our export started. So let's note the time and turn off the screen recorder. So I started the timer as well, and now I'm recording through my phone. So it's exporting. If I go and see the discontinuity, this will affect the export time with a bit of speed, but just want to show you the exportation and the CPU and GPU usage. So let's close everything so to avoid any speed compromise here. So we just completed our test and it was a successful export on Ryzentosh. This is the video, and if we go, it's pretty neat. And let's close this, and it's still working pretty sharp. So now we will upgrade our Hackintosh to Ryzen 3900 XT. So you have already seen how 3200G performed in a variety of different tests, including the Apple native softwares, Apple Motion, Apple Final Cut, and in Apple Compressor, also in Adobe Softwares. And we also ran Microsoft Office, Excel, and different Apple native applications like Pages and Numbers. And it performed really great in almost all the tests. So now the ultimate test is to get the Ryzen 3900 XT to work. So this is a 12-core 24-thread processor, and if this processor performs really well in this Hackintosh and we get no error, then I will move my main Hackintosh system to a Ryzentosh, and we'll see what benefits we get from the extra horsepower.